This is the sternum and this is the manubrium sterni. This is the body. This is manubrium sterni and this is the body. This is the anterior surface of the sternum, and this is the posterior surface of the sternum. Here we see the attachment of anterior surface and posterior surface. This is the anterior surface and this is posterior surface. The attachment of anterior surface are here in this position. Below the jugular notch, the attachment is sternal head of sternocleidomastoid muscle. Sternal head of sternocleidomastoid muscle. In this position, it is the origin of sternocleidomastoid muscle. Sternocleidomastoid muscle origin hobe ekhane, and this part here is the attachment of pectoralis major. Here is the attachment of pectoralis major. This is the also the origin of pectoralis major. Here will be the origin of pectoralis major. Pectoralis major also attached with the body of the sternum. Like this. This red mark area is fully pectoralis major muscle. This red mark area is fully the attachment of pectoralis major, and here is the attachment of sternocleidomastoid muscle. This is the attachment of anterior surface and posterior surface. This is a hypothetical line. We assume this line, and this is the lower half of the manubrium. This is the upper half of the manubrium. Lower half and upper half of the manubrium. In the lower half, the muscle attachment is sternothyroid, and in the upper half, the muscle attachment is sternohyoid. In the lower half, the muscle attachment is sternothyroid, and in the upper half, the muscle attachment is sternohyoid. And the lower part of the body, the attachment is sternocostalis muscle. This is sternocostalis muscle. Then sternocleidomastoid. This cleido means clavicle. This is clavicle. Cleido means clavicle. Costo means rib, and chondro means cartilage. Cleido means clavicle, costo means rib, and chondro means cartilage. This is the manubrium. The anterior surface of the manubrium is convex from side to side, and concave from above downwards. It has 4 border and 2 surface. 4 border. This is superior border. This is inferior border, and 2 lateral border. This is 2 lateral border, and this is inferior surface, and this is anterior surface, and this is posterior surface. Anterior surface and posterior surface. Then we see the attachment of anterior surface and posterior surface. Now the relation of posterior surface is, here is the relation of posterior surface. This is the relation of the posterior surface. This is the arch of aorta. It presents in the lower half of the manubrium. Lower half of the manubrium is the lower half of the manubrium. The arch of aorta is present in the lower half of the manubrium, and the upper half of the manubrium contains BCS, that is the branches of arch of aorta. Like BCS means B for brachiocephalic trunk, B for brachiocephalic trunk, brachiocephalic trunk. Then C for left common carotid artery, left common carotid artery. And S means left subclavian artery, subclavian artery, left subclavian artery. This is the relation of the posterior part of the manubrium, relation of the posterior part of the manubrium. Here also a vein passes, that is left brachiocephalic vein. The green mark line is the brachiocephalic vein. Left brachiocephalic vein also present in the posterior part, the upper half of the posterior part of the manubrium. Now this is the manubrium, and this is the xiphoid process, and this is the clavicular notch, two clavicular notch, and these two parts are articulate facet for first rib. This is jugular notch, this is jugular notch or suprasternal notch or interclavicular notch, interclavicular notch. This notch has a attachment, that is interclavicular ligament. Here is a attachment, that is interclavicular ligament, interclavicular ligament, and investing layer of cervical fascia, investing layer of cervical fascia, interclavicular ligament, and investing layer of cervical fascia and interclavicular ligament, the two attachment. And then the clavicular notch, these and these are the clavicular notch in the bone. These two are the clavicular notch. In this position there is a joint, that is sternoclavicular joint. Sternoclavicular joint is a saddle type of synovial joint. Sternoclavicular joint is saddle type of synovial joint, saddle type of synovial joint. And in the lateral border, here is a facet for the costal cartilage. This facet articulates with the costal cartilage, that means first costal cartilage, to form the first costochondral joint. And this is the primary type of primary cartilaginous joint. This forms primary cartilaginous joint. Then lower demifacet along with the lateral border. Lower demifacet, it articulates with the body of the sternum, and in this position this facet and the lower demifacet of the manubrium, these two articulates with the second costal cartilage to form second chondrosternal joint. And the second chondrosternal joint is a plain type of synovial joint, plain type of synovial joint. This is the body of the sternum and this is manubrium. The lower border of the manubrium articulates with the upper border of the body this way. It forms the secondary cartilaginous joint. We know the all midline structure is secondary cartilaginous joint except giphisternal joint and others. Some exception is here. So this is the secondary cartilaginous joint. The lower border of the manubrium and the upper border of the sternal body makes the secondary cartilaginous joint. Here also angle forms, that is called the angle of Lewis. This is the angle of Lewis. Joint with the body of the sternum and manubrium, this is called the manubriosternal joint. This is called the manubriosternal joint. This is secondary cartilage. The lower end lower end of the body articulates with the xiphoid process to form giphisternal joint. Giphisternal joint, it is a primary cartilaginous joint. This is the exception. We know all the midline structure forms secondary cartilaginous joint, but giphisternal joint forms the primary cartilaginous joint. It is a exception. Then the anterior surface of the body has three ridge like this. Anterior surface of the body has three ridge that divides the whole body in four sternibrae. Three transverse ridge that divides the body in four sternibrae. Divides in four sternibrae. This is a transverse ridge, this is a transverse ridge, and this is a transverse ridge. It divides the body in 1, 2, 3, 4 sternibrae. Here is the posterior relation of the body. The relation is, if we divide the body in left side and right side, left and right, then the right side, the posterior surface of the body of the right side of the body will, there is a relation with right lung with pleura. The right side, the relation is right lung with pleura, and the left side, the upper half of the left side and the lower half of the left side, the upper half has the relation with left lung with pleura, and the lower half has the relation with heart with pericardium. That means the whole right side has the relation with right lung with pleura, and the upper half of the left side has the relation with left lung with pleura, and the lower half of the left side has the relation with heart with pericardium. This is the xiphoid process. The anterior attachment, the anterior surface of the xiphoid process has the attachment with rectus abdominis muscle in anterior surface. The attachment of anterior surface is rectus abdominis muscle. In the posterior surface, it gives the origin to diaphragm. And the lower end of the xiphoid process, that is the tip of the xiphoid process, the lower end or tip of the xiphoid process afford the attachment of linea alba. The tip of the xiphoid process, that means the lower lower end of the Gifford process has the attachment of linea alba. The clinical importance of sternal angle is it forms an important landmark and helps in counting of the rib, and it articulates with the second costal cartilage. Then tracheal bifurcate close to this level. Tracheal bifurcate close to this level. Then beginning and ending of the arch of the aorta. Beginning and ending of the arch of the aorta has formed in this level, this sternal angle, level of the sternal angle. Then sternum move forward and backward at the sternomanubrial joint during respiration, and junction between inferior and superior mediastinum also present in this position, that is sternal angle.